Another Direct is in the books, so here's my take for each of the announcements. After 9 years since the last game, the Mario Bros team up again in Mario & Luigi Brotherhood. This is a rare Mario series that I've never played, but I think it's time to do so, with my initial interest level at 7 out of 10. I was born a bit too early to appreciate the original NES World Championships, but I can feel like I've gone back in time with the release of Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. This looks like a speedrunner's dream and a perfectionist's nightmare. Me, I lean towards the latter as I would drive myself crazy trying to trim off fractions of a second, so while cool and all, it isn't for me. Initial interest level is a 3 out of 10. The only familiarity I have with Koei Tecmo is their Dynasty Warrior series, but more specifically the 2 Zelda spin-offs, both of which I've reviewed. Just saying. Fairy Tail is a series I've never heard of, but if you're an avid anime fan, you may be familiar with this world. While I've got nothing against this RPG per se, I think I would only be interested if I was a fan of the anime itself. Initial interest level is 2 out of 10. Fantasian Neo Dimension is next on our list and looks to be an enhanced version of the original released back in 2021. I don't think I had ever heard of this game, but that could be because I don't have an iPhone or other Apple products, as my research reveals that the original game was released on Apple Arcade. Now that Neo Dimension will be brought to the Switch, am I interested enough to give it a shot? Honestly, yes, more so than I originally thought I would be. The combat system looks interesting enough. However, it's not at the forefront of games I'm eager to play, with my initial interest level at 4 out of 10. It's time to put your money where your mouth is with this free basketball update coming to Nintendo Switch Sports. Many of you may know basketball was my favorite sport in Wii Sports Resort, specifically the 3-on-3 matches. This 2-on-2 version doesn't look bad though, and the solo or multiplayer 3-point contest looks pretty fun as well. I don't have Nintendo Switch Sports as of this video, but basketball might just push me over the edge to get it. Initial interest level is 6.5 out of 10. This next game looks like something my brother Red Toa would really be interested in. Mio, or Memories in Orbit, looks to be a Metroidvania type game with a very unique art style. The opening scene reminded me of GLaDOS from Portal, but I highly doubt there's a connection. I don't see myself getting it day one, but I think eventually I'll try it out. Initial interest level is 6 out of 10. Disney Illusion Island is getting a free update where you get to help solve detective mysteries. The game looks similar to Rayman Origins' art aesthetic, and while I'm sure it'll be fun for Mickey fans, I'm just not into it. Initial interest level sits at a 1.5 out of 10. Hello Kitty Island Adventure is another initial Apple Arcade only game that's coming to the Switch. It really takes the right type of cozy game for me to be interested, and perhaps shockingly, this isn't it. It's cute and should be a welcome to fans of Hello Kitty and our hardcore cozy gamers. Wait, hardcore cozy gamers? Is that a thing? My initial interest level for this game is 1 out of 10. Did anyone else think the graphics for this game looked 2 generations behind? Looney Tunes' Wacky World of Sports seems more like a wacky gym of sports, since there's initially only 4 sports to play, being basketball, tennis, soccer, and golf. I used to watch Looney Tunes a lot when I was a kid, but there's not enough nostalgia to keep me interested in this game for long. Initial interest level for this game is 3.5 out of 10. I feel like I'm the only person to never have played Among Us. It looks like a game I would be super into if I gave it a shot, but for some reason I still haven't picked it up. The new update lets players play as new crewmates and imposters to change up the gameplay. It really does look fun, and if I had played it before, I would probably be more interested in it. But for now, my initial interest level for the update alone is 4 out of 10. Farmagia is next on the list. Developed by Marvelous Inc., this game takes the farm sim aspect and morphs it to where instead of harvesting crops, you harvest monsters to fight alongside you. It'll be cool to see all the different types of monsters you can utilize for every situation, and this is probably the dark horse in my list as I was pretty surprised how interesting it looked. Initial interest level is 6.25 out of 10. Donkey Kong has gone ape in losing his bananas. Originally released on the Wii, which I have a review for by the way, Donkey Kong returns to the Switch in this HD port. I was so excited when the original game was announced for the Wii, and while it's cool to see it come to the Switch, I can't help but feel a bit disappointed that it wasn't a new DK game. If it had been, I probably would have got it day one, but with this, I honestly don't know if I can bring myself to buy it again. Initial interest level is a solid 5.25 out of 10. The only Dragon Quest game I've played is a spin-off for the Wii entitled The Masked Queen and the Tower of Mirrors, so seeing a Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 HD remake is cool and all, but I don't have any nostalgic interest. This Direct seemed to have a lot of third-person RPGs, but if I only had the choice to play one, I hear this series is pretty popular, so I guess I would go with this, but apparently I would need to begin with the third game first, right? Initial interest level is 4.5 out of 10. I am not a Funko Pop fanatic, but I do enjoy crossovers, and Funko Fusion looks fairly interesting. This game takes an initial 60 different characters across many different universes and lets you play as all of them. I feel like it would be a licensing nightmare if all these brands and IPs weren't under the Funko umbrella. I mean, that's the only way this game can exist, right? While an interesting concept, it's just not for me, with my initial interest level at 3 out of 10. Hey now, we're finally at a game I actually have legit interest in. I've always wanted to play Luigi's Mansion 2, and now I can, in HD no less. My review of the original Luigi's Mansion on GameCube came out at the time of this video 14 years ago. Oh my goodness. But I plan to review its HD sequel soon after its release. Initial interest level is a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I had to do a little research on this next game. Denpamen was originally for the 3DS, and one that I've never heard of. The Switch version is actually a mobile version that came out in 2017. Honestly, I don't really have an opinion, but I also don't really have much interest either. Initial interest level is 2.5 out of 10. I've always been aware of the Metal Slug series, but I've never played any of them. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded could be the first time I play though, as apparently it's a tower defense style, a favorite genre of mine. The gameplay didn't look like a traditional tower defense game though, and more like a tower attack style. Oh well, it still looks fun, and one that I'm putting down on my wish list. Initial interest level for this game is a 6 out of 10. The gothic style of Darkest Dungeon 2 is pretty cool, but overall, it's not a game I'm likely to ever play. To each their own, but it's just not for me. Initial interest level is a 2 out of 10. The Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass is getting 4 new games, all of which I'm quite interested in. Out of Zelda, A Link to the Past 4 Swords, Metroid Zero Mission, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and Perfect Dark, Metroid Zero Mission will be the first game I play. Collectively, my initial interest level is a 7.75 out of 10. Next, we have a tactical turn-based game called Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero. To be perfectly honest, the only thing I'm interested in is the fact that it's a tactical turn-based game. Everything else about it though, pass. Initial interest level is a 2.5 out of 10. I remember being a kid walking into an arcade and seeing a bunch of high schoolers huddled up around a cabinet watching 2 of their friends duke it out in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. I couldn't tell you which one it was, but it's cool that this fighter collection is coming to the Switch. I know there are other gamers out there who are stoked this will finally be available, but I'm not one of them. I do like 2D fighters, especially Street Fighter 2 Turbo, so I might pick up Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics later down the line. Initial interest level is a 4.75 out of 10. Alright, here we go, the first game I was truly hyped for. I was honestly surprised Nintendo didn't put Mario Party on the back burner and is instead giving us Super Mario Party Jamboree. You know what the most exciting part is? They finally came to their senses and gave us more than 5 boards to play on, with 2 of them being HD classics from Mario Party 1 and 2 no less. I can't wait to play this, and oh yes, there will be a review. Initial interest level sits handsomely at a 9.25 out of 10. Oh my word! I honestly didn't think we'd get a new Zelda game announcement for at least another year, if not 2, but nope, we get a good look at Echoes of Wisdom. And one could argue it's a true Zelda game, as you actually get to play as Zelda this time. No, the CDI games don't count. You know, I always wondered if Nintendo was to make a game where Zelda was the main protagonist, would they instead call it The Legend of Link? I guess that doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is I'm excited for this game and the fact that we don't even have to wait long for it. Initial interest level is a 9.75 out of 10. Ugh. Nintendo, you just had to build my excitement up with a new Zelda game, but then crush it by showing a game series I have no interest in whatsoever. Initial interest level is a negative 10 out of 10. This next game was quite a shock to me, as a LEGO version of Sony's IP Horizon is coming to Switch. I guess Sony has done this before by putting MLB The Show on different consoles, but I couldn't help but feel like when Sonic started appearing on non-Sega consoles back in the day. Now, I'm not really a fan of the LEGO games, but if I had to play one, Horizon Adventures would probably be it, as I really enjoyed the actual Horizon games. Initial interest level is a 5.25 out of 10. I've heard mostly positive things about Stray, where you play as a cat trying to find your way home. I don't know much about it, but it'd be cool if you could create your own cat as a character select. I would of course choose mine to look like Buster. Initial interest level is a 6 out of 10. Many of you may know I am a big Lord of the Rings fan, so this Tales of the Shire cozy game just might be on my buy list. Probably not going to be a day one purchase, but if initial reviews are good, I might pick it up. Initial interest level is a 5.5 out of 10. My sister Espeon is more of an Ace Attorney fan than I am, but this Switch collection is piquing my interest. Using deductive reasoning and solving cases sounds pretty fun, and I think I might get this in due time. Initial interest level is a 6.25 out of 10. The 100-line Last Defense Academy was another surprising game I didn't think I would be interested in, but the concept of surviving 100 days defending your turf sounds pretty fun. Time will tell if I actually get a copy, but for now it looks pretty good. Initial interest level is a 6.75 out of 10. Square Enix comes in with yet another RPG with Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. Now, I'm not against RPGs, it just seems like they took up a good chunk of this direct. This game actually looks quite complex with the different formations and strategies players can use in battle. RPGs naturally take a lot of time and commitment from the player, and this game just isn't one that I'm eagerly waiting to play. Initial interest level is a 4 out of 10. Well, the final announcement was a big one, and was definitely worthy of being a save the best for last type of game. After waiting just over 7 years, we finally got real footage of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. There's currently speculation if the footage we saw was running on the Switch's successor, but I don't care if it was or not. I'm just happy we finally got confirmation that it's still a thing. Some people, like my sister, didn't believe Prime 4 was still alive, but I told you! I told you! And we even got an initial release year for 2025. I think we're going to be waiting at least another year until we can play it, perhaps waiting until Q4 of 2025. But for now, I'm so glad we got to see it. Initial interest level is 2017 out of 10. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, I create and post my own game reviews for various Nintendo and PlayStation consoles, as well as do Let's Plays and live streams where sometimes I'll play with my subscribers. If that interests you, subscribing would be greatly appreciated, and feel free to join the Discord as well with the link in the description. Thanks for watching!